Hello,
Hello,
hello.
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 Welcome to what's today? March 27th. Uh, the Love of Lapidary Podcast with half of the team. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Brad.
Hello.
Hi.
My little bro's sick, guys, so he's not here tonight.
Yes, feel better, Andrew. So
I'm
how's
sure he'll be
everybody?
in the background in chat. You'll
Right.
see him in
Oh,
chat.
probably. Yeah,
He's
pretty good
laying
about
in
that.
bed saying, "Oh," as he's watching.
Right. Well, how's everybody doing this week so far?
Good. I'm alive.
Good. I've actually got to fire up the saws and start cutting some stuff.
Oh, rub it
Nice.
in.
Nice.
Don't rub
Hey,
it
Twilight.
in.
Well,
It's coming,
I-
Brian. It's coming.
I help. I've been, Monica's been running the saw pretty much.
Nice.
Why I was finished insulating. I messaged Ryan the other day. I got a gentleman that's got me cutting a whole bunch of tiger's eye.
Oh, cool.
He gave me like 200 pounds of tiger's eye. I'm
Oh my
slapping.
God, 200 pounds. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jackie.
Hey, you're masking up with that, right?
No, because my saw's outside, so I put it in there. I shut the saw and walk away. Let my saw shut off. I let it stop for 3 or 4 minutes before I even open it.
Yeah.
Buddy, you'll get asbestos,
Hey,
man.
just gotta be careful.
Tiger's Eye has asbestos in it.
Yeah.
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 I'm just
That's a
telling you
bad
because I
one.
care about you. That's when you need a mask. You need to be wearing a mask. You'll pay for it later. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
For sure. It'll catch up to you.
I'm gonna sneeze, so if I turn away or turn myself off for a second, that's why. Dave made it. Dave.
Hey!
Yeah,
Hey,
sorry. I was
Oh,
on a
you're
phone
fine.
call and got some kind of bad news, so I had to hang in for a bit.
Oh no, I hope everything's all right. Hey, Jeff.
Oh
Me
yeah,
too.
it's you know how kids are when they have family problems. And
I do. Yeah.
so
Right,
anyway,
right.
I'd rather talk about rocks.
There you go. Well, we could do that for sure. For sure.
Well, that's a good thing.
But it was just me.
Hey, Kelly. Kelly's our Facebook.
Brad put it short. I said I always am in that.
So, Tony.
Get it wet,
I'm
please.
just calling you Tony because I see Tony Farms and Stock Dogs. Welcome for your first time. Is Tony correct, or do you go by something else?
And where'd you
Now,
hear
which
about us
one are
from?
you calling Tony?
Tony, see, it's gone. Hold on, I got to go to my other screen. I
Yeah.
can't see everything on the one screen. It makes me. Where'd it go? Where'd the comment go?
I think
There
I
it
made
is.
the right call, Dave. Or
Tony Farm
Brad.
and Stock Dogs. I'm just wondering if calling him Tony is correct. That's
Oh, I don't even see that.
yeah.
Did any of them see it? Oh,
It's
That's
a closed
amazing,
saw
Tiger's
coil.
Eye.
Isn't that a lot different than using an open saw? With it is a lot different, Jackie, but it's still because even though it has oil and it's closed, if you don't wait long enough, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys. If you don't wait long enough before you open that lid, you're still getting all that mist, that oil mist,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
you're going to breathe
And
that
it's
in.
worse than water at that point.
Right.
So you
Right.
got to be very, very careful.
So
Right.
now mine is outside, so
Uh-huh.
I may wait 15 seconds, let the oil start dripping off the edge of the saw,
Right.
and I'll hold my breath and open it, and I'll walk away.
Right.
And
Okay.
then you can let all that mist kind of get away. But you don't
I'm
want
not
to
gonna
breathe
lie,
that
I
mist.
do that all the time.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Put on a dust mask, walk up and open it. You're okay. It'll stop those drops.
Right. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Loki. Brad was talking about before you popped in, Dave. He's cutting tiger's eye, so that's why we were talking about.
Did you see that big piece I just showed?
No, I
Yeah.
missed it.
Show it again, please.
Just that. Monica will grab it again. Ryan saw it. Nobody else was paying attention. The next piece.
He had hit me up about it earlier in the day,
Okay.
asking me some stuff. So.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was actual regular tiger's eye, if it was marimamba.
Ooh.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's Marimamba.
Nice.
I told him it's not marimamba,
It's not
but
Marimamba.
it is very high quality
It is.
Yeah.
regular tiger's eye.
That's gorgeous, Brad.
That's stunning.
And look
Now,
at
I
how
have another
big
piece
it
that'll be
is.
going in the saw that's about 6.5 inches thick. That's it's got that kind of variation and color to it too.
And I
Okay.
thought the Maramama had that curved pattern to it. Is what I
Not, yeah,
thought,
it's
so.
not always. It's not really the curve; it's the structure. So Maramamba, you
Okay.
get individual needles of different colors. You don't have
Oh.
sections where it's chatoyant in one way. You get where it's blue and red and yellow, and then you turn it, and it's depending
The other
on the
way,
majority that is
All right.
around.
Right.
Depends on what the actual color that your eye sees. But when you look close, you could see that the
Right.
stratation breakup in there.
Right.
It's one of
And
my
sometimes
favorite
you'll
materials
get
on the planet. I
greens
absolutely
too.
love it.
Just such beautiful stuff. Well, welcome, Terry. I will try to remember Terry, but I ain't holding my breath. I hope you don't hold yours either. So Tony Farm and Stock Dogs is Terry, you guys.
Terry.
Oh, okay. Hello.
So she, Terry with an I, I'm going to guess she, found us by just doing a search. So that's awesome. We love
Oh,
that.
sick.
Yeah, I just put a 47-pound chunk of sodalite in the saw.
Nice.
That one's got some pretty blues and whites. It's a pretty looking piece.
You got a UV? You got a UV light?
I do, and I'm gonna hit it and see if
Do
it
it. Do it.
is
Yeah,
good
see
stuff.
if you get that nice pink.
I'll tell you where it's from depending on what it does. Let me know what it does.
Really?
I will.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
You're amazing, Ryan.
Gonna say
So
that,
it's one of my, man, I keep saying that's one of my favorites, but I have a list of like 30 or 40 different minerals that I'm just obsessed with.
Right.
And I know that sounds ridiculous, but this is how I am.
No, Yeah.
I'm obsessed with spaghetti.
what's
that
that?
tiger's eye.
Too
That
dark,
big
Dave. I
block is-
can't see, man. Oh, I can
Pull it
see
back,
now.
Dave.
I can see
How
now.
about-
How about see like that right there? See,
Yeah,
this
do
is
the
what I'm-
45-degree
There
again.
you go, right
There we
there.
go.
That's
Yeah.
gorgeous. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I'm used to seeing for for the tiger eye that I've as
Yeah.
far as a better quality. And
Definitely
but
better
I could-
quality, both of you. They're really nice.
I couldn't tell you
Speaking
which
of,
one
I
this
have cut
is.
that tiger's eye and that kind of like in Maramamba from everywhere you could think of, whether it's treated or not treated. And my favorite shape out of all the ones that I've ever cut is just a square.
Really?
Yep. If you do like, say, if you get Maramamba and you have a red vein and then you have the tiger iron in between and then blue on the bottom,
Right.
and you
Yeah.
cut a square out of that and get all the lines different chatoyancy in between, I don't know. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Now, do you dome it or do you keep it flat?
No, so I dome it. I dome it for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, yeah.
I
Absolutely.
mean, some materials you actually lose the
Exactly.
chatoyance if you dome it too much, and I wasn't sure about
Yeah, I mean, I
it's
wouldn't
got
do
it.
like a high point or anything with tiger's eye. You won't see anything in the middle, just on like the edges. You'll have that square effect.
Right.
But
Right.
if you do like a huge cushion cut, decent high dome, Courtney does like domes, and I think that with tiger's eye, it's very
Depending on the
eccentric.
material. Yeah.
But
yeah.
when you're doing the square, if you go one run every direction and turn and turn
Yeah,
and turn,
Exactly. Yeah.
the end process, and then go back and forth and turn, it's
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's funny, how I learned to cut squares was to go corner to corner,
Yeah,
right?
for that dome, for sure.
Yeah. For your dome, go corner to corner.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, it really just depends, and you're right, depending on the material. Depends on how high you want to make your dome. Sometimes some stuff I prefer the higher domes with,
Yeah.
and then some stuff I don't like the flats. Personally, I don't particularly care for flats. But some stuff calls for flats, right? Or very low dome. So
Yeah,
I
that
don't know,
6-inch
is my
one's gonna
favorite.
turn into a sphere. So
equipment, lessons learned versus your most. Okay, so who's asking the question? Hold on, let me jump over to Facebook. Hi Carrie, Carl. What is your first piece of equipment? Lessons learned, and versus your most utilized or underrated workhorse piece of equipment. Right? So who wants to go first?
my very first piece of equipment was an old Highland Park cab machine, but it still had the silicon carbide wheels. It had the saw attachment to it. That was my first piece of equipment. I have
Okay.
since sold that and moved on to diamond wheels instead of the silicon carbide wheels.
Okay. Right. Right.
But probably my most, honestly, it's my saw that's most used, especially me as a sphere maker. I have to make lots and lots of cuts to get my spheres done. So it's my saws.
Okay. Uh,
The
Brian?
biggest lesson learned is take your time. Don't rush anything
Yes.
when you're doing a rock. Take your time. If you get in a hurry, you will destroy it one way or another.
Right. Yep. All right, Brian.
So for us, the first thing was we had just a tile saw, just a regular tile saw, and we used that first, and then we got a Cab King, and those were amazing inside that aspect. The automatic saws that I have from Highland Park are complete workhorses, if you want to use that word. I mean, we run them 24/7 when it's warm enough. You guys know we do. We cut slabs and slabs and slabs.
Yeah.
But then again, going from the Cab King for us to the CB8 that we have too has been a huge upgrade.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but the tile saw is kind of in the air. You know what I mean? Tile saw is more than enough for a lot of people. Like even in professional lapidary, a tile saw is more than enough. No, and that's not a bad thing. We have the Highland Park upgraded trim saw, but we use it to cut agate nodules. So we kind of need like oomph. You know, it really has to have the power behind it. And a tile saw, I don't think would have lasted. We'd go through one pretty quickly.
Oh, absolutely, you would. Yeah, absolutely.
Matt's here.
Sorry, Matt. Ha! Dave,
Well,
what about you?
You know, I'm just sitting thinking. You know, my first piece of equipment. I don't know if I can get it where everybody can see. You can see right here. This is my very first cabbing machine, and that is a cab made in like, I don't know, the mid '80s. You take one wheel off and you put the other wheel on, and you take one off and you put one on. Then if you need to use your blade, you take the wheels off, you change the table. You've got a table that has a slot for your blade, and you put a blade on there. And it was an all-in-one. That belonged to Dad. He used that for years. And so he came out here one day and he brought that to me. That became mine because he just couldn't do it anymore. Then I got this right here. I got this, this Easy Cab. About a year later, I thought, okay, I want a newer machine that I don't have to swap the wheels for. I love the Easy Cab. I use it a lot. But I'll tell you the lesson I learned. I did the same thing with my slab saw. My first slab saw was a 1950 Ducket. And that saw, I have brand new Highland Park saws. I thought, okay, I need a 16-inch versus a 14-inch. Love Highland Park saws. I own a bunch of them, as you can see. Neither one of those old saws are the quality, or none of the new saws are the quality of those two older pieces of equipment. So newer is not always better. It may have a different function. It may be easier to work on because I can get parts more readily for it. But my Highland Park 16-inch, I love it. It's nothing compared to that old 14-inch 1950 Ducket that I had. And the thing would just cut all day long.
Nice.
We had a 1970s Raytech, and it was a beast of a machine.
Nice.
It was an 18-inch. It cut like everything. We never had problems, and then we started having feed screw problems, and I couldn't find one.
Yeah.
I've
got a 1970s model Griffin flat lap sitting over there that was part of their 10-in-1 direct drive motor, like Highland Park's using now in some of their stuff. Thing still works as good as it did 40 years ago.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right. So for me, my very first piece of equipment was a Dremel. I cabbed with a Dremel for about a year and a half before I got my Cab King. I now have two Cab Kings. They both work very hard. I love them. I was going to go with the Highland Park CB8 that Ryan has when I opened the store, but there was the back order situation at that time. I'm not very patient, so I wasn't waiting 2 months to get a cab machine where I can get another Cab King, which I'm perfectly satisfied with, within a few days. I don't use the Cab King wheels. I do use Diamond Pacific Nova wheels, one hard wheel, and then all the rest soft wheels. So that would be, the ones that work the hardest for me. I also have saws, but I mean, I use tile saw to cut out my preforms. Works for me. I just don't feel a need to spend the money on a trim saw. I've been doing this for 9 years now, almost 10 years, and I'm on my third tile saw. So I've spent $300 in 10 years. So I'm perfectly good with a $100 tile saw for that. I do also have a 15-inch Highland Park table saw, slab saw, that I use fairly regularly, but I'm certainly not slabbing like Ryan and Andrew do, or like probably even like Brad does. So the question, Matt, welcome. Nice to see you.
Hola.
And as far as lessons learned and tips and tricks and all, exactly what Brad said, take your time, right? Whatever you're doing, take your time. So the question is, what was your first piece of equipment? What are your lessons learned versus your most utilized, underrated workhorse piece of equipment?
It's interesting.
We're not talking boats here. No boats, Matt.
Right? Yeah, lapidary equipment.
Yeah, you want the excavator, right? That's the most highest cost piece of equipment. But
Right.
I was fortunate and was doing some digging on Craigslist and also on Marketplace. And I was running a lot between Nashville, Virginia, and Jacksonville. So along that 64,
Yeah.
like out of Nashville east to 64 up through Virginia. So I ran into an older gentleman who has since passed. I did stay in touch with him until he had cancer. So I did stay in touch with him, but so he was selling off his equipment, and for about $2,000, I bought, a trim saw, flat lap, my wheels. I mean, I got a whole bunch of rough. I got all my ags, my powders,
Okay.
He sold me everything he had for about $2,000, somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
Nice.
and provided oodles of support. I mean, faceting machine, on and on. Well over what I paid for it.
Right.
And so I do want to get off into the faceting machine when I finish getting my garage cleaned out, which I've finished my rock project at home and my paver project. So the garage is next on the list. So I do want to get into the faceting machine, and I think the trim saw is a hunk of junk. It runs fine, but I can tell you my 10-inch tile saw works much better.
Right.
Much better. So now my 10-inch tile saw, it's got a table on it. It's got a vise on it. It also has a drop saw capability, right? So it's not a cheap tile saw.
It's not a conventional tile saw.
Tile saw,
No, it's an industrial tile saw.
Okay.
So I used it for the most part. Next I would say is my 7-inch, which is a Harbor Freight tile saw.
Yep.
And that thing has not let me down yet. You can bog through about anything with that. I'd say that whether you're using a tile saw or a lapidary saw, and I know there's a bunch of different opinions on the matter, I'd say it's got a whole lot to do with technique and a whole lot to do with what blades you put on it.
Absolutely.
I agree. Your ability to adapt that piece of equipment, we've had this conversation. This group of us have had this conversation several times.
Yeah.
You don't want to be cutting something thicker than your blade sticks out of the saw, right? I mean, that's not a good idea. We don't want to get into that, but some people do, and sometimes I do. If you're not experienced, it's not a good idea. Right?
But you understand the nature of the equipment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And
I turn cut and it's easy. My cuts are flawless. I've cut probably
Yeah.
like 20,000 agates.
But once you figure out, Ryan, and you figure out how you line it up and how it pushes through and the density of your material and blah blah blah, right? It's much much easier. But somebody who has worked with a saw that is cutting that type of a material has a much better understanding of what to expect from the saw, right? You get this thing on a bind and you can toast that blade in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
It'll be warped like a damn soup bowl.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah. So and it also just drastically wears on that motor as well. Now I do purchase whenever I purchase my tile saws from Harbor Freight. I do
3-year
purchase
warranty.
their higher end. I'd say that's the what is that, Diamondback? I think their higher end is. And I do also purchase higher end blades. So there's that, At the same time, for somebody just starting out, I've wore the crap out of a straight out of the box Harbor Freight tile saw blade. I mean, it'll cut.
It will.
Okay.
It will. And that was going to be what I was just going to say on those Harbor Freight or Home Depot tile saws. Once you get used to it or whatever, go invest in some better blades, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And keep it moving from there, and then make the decision if you want to move up to a different saw or not. Like I said, I chose not to. Some people have chosen to.
Yeah, see, I always think it's BS. Like I'm a trim saw guy because I cut so much.
Right.
And the warranties and stuff that I have with this company and things like
Yeah.
that for cutting agates. And,
Yeah, for what you do, you'd be
but,
stupid to do it with a tile saw.
these people
I do-
that sell trim saws just say like you can get a finer cut or a better edge, or that's bullshit. That's all.
bullshit.
That's all in the
you
blade
control.
technique.
That's you. That's the user
right.
is what
That's
it is. It doesn't matter what machine you use. You need to know your piece of machinery and know how to cut, where to cut. That
Right.
all comes
I can
with
tell you, I
practice.
side kerf and shape on my tile saw
Yep.
I do too.
all
Yeah,
the time.
I do
I did
too.
on my trim saw. Yep.
Now, should somebody just starting out that hasn't figured out how to line their saw up, that's probably not a good idea, right? But you can work into it,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
we
If
all
you have good thinner edge blades, it's
Right.
grinding anyways. It's just grinding.
That's all
Run
it
it
is.
along the side like a flat lap and just rotate. It's not hard, guys. It's really not. You're not ruining the blade. It's what it's made for.
Right.
That's what it's made for.
Right. That's right.
Yeah,
Well, and
I'm
you've
looking
heard me
for
say
an
that.
auto feed saw, a good auto feed used saw. I'll wait. I'm in no big hurry, but I'm looking for a good one. But
I know where there's a couple
more of a
used ones,
one.
Matt.
Right.
I know where there's a couple good used ones right now. Come on out. I'll help you.
That shipping's
We'll
a little
go look
steep,
for
Brad.
rocks while you're out here.
That might be
There you go.
might be the incentive that I
Might be
need.
doable. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I do know where there's a 24-inch homemade saw that we could pick up for about $1,600 right now, and it's in good shape.
That's
Right.
huge for that price.
Yeah, it is.
that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
good price. Yeah.
Hi, Dwayne. Okay,
Well,
so
and-
next question.
But as far as wheels, back to equipment. As far as wheels, I use a 4-wheel set of Speed Demon. They're not made. They quit making them in I think 76 or something like that. And when I get to cutting, I'm wearing out some cabs. I mean,
Right.
it does a hell of a fine job. I run 2 center wheels on there and 2 soft wheels. And
There you
thank
go.
you, Courtney, for sending me soft wheels. Right.
I still feel like it's all about the person.
Very
It's all about you and how much time you put into it, how your work's going to come out. That's just how it is.
Yep.
One of the
Well,
best
that's-
cabbers
yeah.
I ever met in my
Right.
life used wooden spools.
Yeah. I
Nice.
can tell you
Spool
what.
cab machine that
Mark
you put
Anderson, I don't
different
know if
grinding
he's-
grits on.
Right.
I don't know if he's watching or not, but I tell you what, that dude turned me on to some hardwood wheels and how to make a hardwood wheel. As a matter of fact, for dyno, we were talking about dyno jumbo, and it was the tribacula, right, that gives you the
Yeah,
difference
the
between
undercutting.
the agate and the difference in hardness. and the dips, and he's like, "Hey, put some paste on some wheels, or put whatever medium you got on some wheels, some hard wooden wheels, and give it a rip." And night and day difference.
Right.
Yeah, night and day difference.
Nice.
It's a lot to do with tips and tricks and what
Yeah.
you know, and right, and your resources, being able to reach out to somebody and
Practice.
saying, "Hey, this is what I got," you know.
Right. Right. Okay. So
Practice,
next,
practice, practice.
yes, yeah. Practice. Get to know your materials. Get to know your equipment. Be willing to try different things. Be willing to learn. Right. So next question. When you were learning and made your first equipment investment, what were your memorable moments?
Wow.
I'll tell
all
you.
tragic,
I'll tell
dude.
you.
Right?
This little monster right here.
Yeah, well, look, Dave's got every freaking piece of equipment that comes out just because
this-
he needs to have the new next best thing. So,
The simplest thing on it is this polishing leather pad on the end,
mhm.
and the dumbest thing. Never knew how to use it. I'm used to using wheels on the old one, right? But I get this new leather polishing pad, and I spray it up, and I've got my stone. Next thing I know, I got a window that's almost broken because.
Yeah, you got to hold on to it, Dave.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It'll send that flying.
Yeah,
You
you
might
learn
want to
some
put a little
stuff really
guard
fast.
back there. You might want to put a little guard back there.
Even a piece of plywood would do you some good.
But you know what you learn to do? So instead of coming and using the far side of my wheel over there, around toward the bottom, I use this part of my wheel up here. If
Right.
anything comes loose, it throws down against this box and stuff that I've got down. So you learn some things like that. But yeah, that was probably the real wake up for me, was like, oh, this isn't as simple as what I thought it was. There's some things to think about here.
Yeah. Look, for me, it was because I have this fabulous basement, and my husband is awesome and doesn't make me keep my saws outside. So before I converted a storage room into the saw room, I had them just, out. And specifically the tile saw. It never dawned on me to put something behind it to keep that crap from splashing all over the walls, right? So I've got some real nice splash marks on my walls, right, from all of that crap flying out everywhere.
That's art.
It didn't take long, though. I got to tell you, it didn't take long for me to I just tacked a shower curtain to the wall until I could convert the other room. But even something, something as simple as that, you just don't think about it. If you don't know, you don't know, right? Or with my saw, my 14-inch, had I really thought about what I was doing, I would have got the freestanding saw and not the tabletop version, because there's so many, things like attachments that I can't attach to it because it's the table version and not the freestanding. So, again, don't know what you don't know till you know, right?
For me, I have two different ones that taught me lessons for sure. I was cutting a huge piece of tiger's eye on a tile saw. We had probably been doing it for a couple months. You know this story for sure. And it was, seriously, it was this big, like laying flat. That's how big it was. And then it was probably 3-4 inches thick.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wailing through this thing. I have no idea that there's asbestos in it, for one. For two, this thing is just ripping. And I had it bind up on me before and been able to wiggle loose stones. Okay, so I had already knew that that was just a feature of this nice rigid saw that I had. So I'm going through and it binds and I'm like, crap, and I lean it forward, and the second I lean it forward, it shoots it at me at like 200 miles an hour. It hits me dead in my chest, and I end up on the floor.
I remember
gasping
that.
for air. And none of you guys except for Courtney have met me in person. I'm a pretty large person.
He is.
I could take a hit like a
dude.
mofo. It put me back instantaneously. Oh, dude, I had a bruise literally like this big, the size of a basketball, right on my sternum. It hurt so freaking bad. It hurt so bad. And then, don't do that. If you're ever cutting and you do lift away, commit to that one direction. Don't wiggle back and forth. Go just that one direction, pull it
Right.
out, set it back down the way you were originally cutting, go back into your original cut.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So I learned that. All right. 1. 2, I went and got a thin blade from Kingsley North because I used to have a Cab King. Me and Andrew did. We had a Cab King, and it just took little tiny, like 4-inch blades, 5-inch blades. So I went and I just bought a thin little blade and come back, and we were cutting agates on there. And I got my buddy's kid with me, and I'm cutting agates, and the agate breaks, and a piece notches out of the freaking saw blade, and it cut my finger to the bone. And I didn't even care. I was so worried about the kid because he was holding it with me.
Yeah.
Like the agate broke, and the second it broke, I like shoved my finger into the blade. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want the kid's finger to touch it at all. So I ate the whole thing. It just, yeah, it was nice. I opened it and I looked at Andrew and I was like, bro, I need to go to the hospital. It was right. I was like, damn it, dude. This is not what I wanted to do today. But yeah, so if you're ever cutting agates, don't use thin saw blades. Ever.
Right.
So you'd rather lose some material than some of your
Yeah.
fingers.
Was it a segmented or a smooth edge saw blade?
So it was segmented, but they were shallow segments. You know what I mean? Just enough to put diamond on, but there was no notches.
Right.
But because a group of those segments broke off, I ate all of it. In just no time at all. It was no time at all.
Yeah.
And I know those are only soldered on somehow. I'm not sure exactly how they do it, but
Yeah, I don't know. Use centered blades on your trim saws. That's all I could say.
Yep.
Centered
That's
blades
all I
on your
use.
trim saws, period.
It's spray welding, Dave. So
is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah. So they superheat it, and then it's a plasma spray.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know nothing about welding. Dave and you. That's. I'm sure Brad does his building crap all the time.
That's the welder.
I build all my own diamond cups for my machine. I braze all my own stuff on for my sphere machine. So
Have you patented your design yet?
no, because I'm probably not the only one that I know. I'm not the only one that makes them because I learned it from somebody else.
Okay.
But I just know how to weld and how to braze, so I can build them.
Yeah.
And for me, the biggest learning experience, I guess you could say, is when you think your vise is tight enough, tighten it more.
Tighten
That's
it
right.
more. That's
Absolutely.
It cost me a $400 blade, the very first cut I made, because it come loose in my 24-inch and just it mangled. I have straightened out 14-inch blades and been able to use them again, but that 24-inch blade, it was so mangled that I just flat couldn't. So if you think your vise is tight, tighten it some more.
Brad, I need
That's
to hook you
great
up with
advice.
Kingsley North, man, on that blade cost. $400. That's whack.
Well, that was like when I first got into the thing, and it was buying one of the great big 24-inch agate eaters from Highland Park.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll hook you up with Richard and them at Highland, or not Highland Park, Kingsley North. Dude, their blades are cheap and
The
they are
Kingsley
very good.
blades
That's
are
what we
cheap
use.
and they cut well, I gotta say.
Yeah, that was when I was first getting into the things, and the only people I knew was Highland Park, and I'm like, that agate eater blade, that looks like a mean blade. Yep. I don't buy them no more because, yeah, $400 for a blade, that's expensive when you say oops.
Let me say, though,
Yeah.
they are crazy nice because you can replace the pieces. He
Yeah.
has videos on how to hammer new pieces in even. So that's what's cool about it is you can use it. It's so thick, too, that the chance of it warping is pretty slim compared to a normal blade.
I have the Highland Park.
I've done it.
I have their the Highland Park 14-inch drop saw,
Mhm.
and that's all I'll run on that drop saw is the agate eater because it is so thick and heavy that it's hard to destroy. And that drop saw, that extra weight
on it all
makes it nice.
Yeah. The
You ever thought about tying
only
a brick
complaint
to that?
about that is the kerf on that blade, right? It eats some additional material.
It
Yeah,
does.
if you're cutting super high end stuff, you do have to adjust in the cost of what you're selling it for when you slab it, because you do lose an eighth of an inch of material on every steak it cut.
Yep.
Well, now that's a what is that? An 80 or a 90, isn't it? I think it's the same thickness as the black segmented blade that I use from Highland Park.
Pretty
Probably.
sure it's quarter
Yeah.
inch. Those agate eaters.
I haven't measured one for a while, but it's heavy and it's thick.
Yeah.
They're
I'm
not
pretty sure they're a quarter inch.
No, they're not.
But when I've got my
so.
blanks for my spheres in there, and you're just trying to take that corner out,
Yeah.
I can't use a light blade. If you use a light blade, you're going to wipe it out every time. So you just leave the heavy blade in and eat the loss, like Matt just said. It is. You lose a lot of material cutting with it. So you just have to be aware of that.
Yep.
If you're cutting
How
a
much-
$200 a pound piece of material, that dollar adds up real fast.
It does, and so does eating blades.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what, Ryan? You're right. They're 5/8.
That's probably the arbor. That's the arbor size.
That's the arbor size. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me.
Yeah, that should be a 0.9.
So it is
0.90.
0.135 of an inch width.
So that's
Is that
just a little
135?
over an eighth of an
So
inch.
it's about an eighth.
Yeah.
Of an
Yeah,
inch.
125 is an eighth, so just a little over an eighth.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the 16 then
Depending
is
on the
the
size,
So
right?
it's more
Because
like a
the-
3/16 blade.
Yeah, the
That was
10
for a
inch.
20 inch, just so you know.
Yeah,
What I
the
just
10
told you.
inch is 0.080.
yeah,
It's
the
more like
16
a
inches is 090.
So yeah, so it just depends on what size blade.
Well, and the bigger the blade, the thicker it has to
The
be.
thicker it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 24, yeah, is 0.135. Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine the thickness of that 45 inch that he's making now?
That's going to be a good quarter-inch thick blade.
Right?
48 inch.
Well, I mean, if you're cutting something with a
0.22.
45-inch blade, you're probably cutting something 18 to 20 inches thick.
yeah.
And that quarter inch ain't gonna matter, right?
No, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the 48 inch blade is 0.22, so it is almost a quarter.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, if you can afford to cut a rock that'll fit in that 48-inch saw, you can afford to lose the quarter-inch of material.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a cheaper way to do it than that, and that's to build a wire saw.
I
A
mean,
wire saw.
Yep,
I got a
I'd love to have
chainsaw.
one.
I got a diamond chainsaw
ring.
that'll
You
cut
talking
that.
about like the ring saws?
No, a wire saw actually is it's just like having it on a pulley on each end, and it's a diamond wire that goes around it, and it'll lower it down as it
Okay.
moves.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
dumping
yeah.
water
Like-
on, and
It's like a band saw for rock.
Right. Right.
only
Okay.
it cuts this direction. Instead of holding something in there, it's big enough. It's coming down across it this way.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That would be like to cut countertops and that.
Well,
sort of
I've seen them 30
Look,
feet.
I had this woman in my store the other day, and we got to talking. She's part of the local rock club, and she works at a countertop factory. And she was
Yep.
showing me some of these pictures of the countertops that she's got. And she has this Lapidary countertop in her warehouse. I'm trying to talk my husband into countertops now.
I got a buddy that hauls rock for they do tile, they do countertops down here by me, and he took me into their shop the other day, and they have a wire saw that'll cut 36 2-inch slabs at one time.
Yep.
They lay that rock in there, and they can, like I said, it just start whacking 2-inch slabs, and and their table on that thing is 27 feet long.
Wow.
I was gonna say I've seen a
That's
30-footer
cool.
used.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
The 20-inch blade from Kingsley North is 0.050 in thickness.
0.05.
So it's more than half of
Yeah.
less, right?
No, 0.05.
The 0.050 is what I have on my 10-inch that I bought the Covington.
5/100ths, which would be what?
Yeah, it's half because the other one was 0.135, and if this is 0.050, it's more.
0.05.
It's
Yeah.
more. Yeah,
That's what.
it's way 3 times almost.
Yeah. Okay, so last question. Latest favorite piece. Did you mean latest or did you mean least? And do you mean actual rock, type of rock, or do you mean
Machinery.
like
Latest favorite piece.
Yeah. I don't know if she meant to type least or
I can tell you, I got a pretty sweet piece of gem bone in the mail today.
yeah.
Of course you did.
Most recent. Okay, so your most recent favorite piece.
Piece of equipment or piece of stone?
Yeah, piece of equipment or piece of stone that we've actually made ourselves. That's a nice sphere, Brad. What is that?
Petrified wood from Silver Creek Junction, Utah.
Nice, nice. Very cool. Piece
Gem
that
bone.
you're thrilled for. Okay, gotcha. So,
Stone.
yep.
Come on,
Brad's
Jack.
got that sphere. Matt's got his gem bone that he just showed off.
Well, that's just what I have.
All of ours have been agates, and all of them, yes, is the answer.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Hi, Emma. Happy birthday. Happy
Oh,
late
happy
birthday.
birthday.
Thank you.
Hi, Emma.
Hello.
I don't know if this
Mine-
is going to show up or not.
Yeah, Dave's got his Trent agate, I'm sure. Back it up.
No.
You always get too close. You can't see the color when you're too close.
Yeah, and I can't. Can you see the pattern in this?
What is
This
it?
is probably a 35 or 40-year-old cut of a Wahi picture jasper
Oh, nice.
that somebody gave me. It was a bolo tie,
Okay.
and the person who made it didn't know anything about cabbing. It had 80 grit scratches all across the top of it.
Right.
The girdle was thin in places, and I redid this. This
Nice.
is what I'm working on now, trying to set in copper, which takes two
Okay.
people to make a copper bezel for this right here.
Two people? Why?
Because copper acts as a giant heat sink. And so even though it's only like, 2-inch square piece you're working on, trying to get enough heat to a place in that to hold it while you get your solder to start to melt is next to impossible. Anything bigger than like 3/4 of an inch, and
Okay.
it just takes a lot. So I got to
Sounds
have
to me
one
like you
person
need a
with a
bigger
torch
tip.
underneath and one person running a torch from above.
I got you.
And so I've got to wait until I can take it in.
Okay.
I'm
Emma,
learning the
show us your
silversmith stuff
favorite.
fast.
Good. Emma, show us your favorite new piece. What you got?
Of what?
Whatever it is you're holding. Is that not your new favorite piece?
Favorite rock.
Oh, my favorite rock?
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. Brad, yours was your sphere. Ryan, what do you got? While Emma finds hers. I don't have anything here. But I ordered, while Ryan's looking for his, I ordered this.
Man, Matt. God.
Crazy piece, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Man.
I
Agate
ordered
yellow, rib bone.
Moonstone Elephant recently. It's not here yet, but it is freaking amazing. I ordered it for the store, but it's not going to end up in the store. The amount of blue flash on it was just stunning. I couldn't not buy it. As far as what, it's always Sujolite for me, right?
Yeah.
It's always Sujolite. I go through my shoebox regularly and Google it and then put it back.
There's the same piece right there.
I mean, since you mentioned the Trent agate,
Yeah,
it is my greatest new acquisition that I will never let anyone have.
right. And I don't even know why I mentioned it because you just make me angry every time. He's got like 10, 12 slabs of it and he's not trying to give it up.
That's crazy.
I love the Trent.
Hey.
It is just amazing material with that black stibnite that fades into some of the reds and the oranges with the copper mixed in. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got, Ryan? What's your most recent favorite?
I got
Your sound is gone, Ryan. Your sound's gone.
Can you hear me now?
There we
There you go.
Okay. So this is this is my favorite piece that I've ever cut. Like as far as agates go, it's a Koyamito agate, and I don't know if you guys can see, but it says poo poo.
Yeah. You posted a picture of that to us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's not for sale. Don't even ask. This is
Very
like one of
cool.
the few things that I'll never sell that.
Poo-poo.
And then my favorite
$600.
Andrew wanted me to show this one because this is really rare. Actually, it's a piece of Cummingtonite from the Cummington mine.
Yes. Okay. Nice.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Cummingtonite.
Yeah.
Never
All right,
heard of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Ryan will tell you all about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
What do you-
it's a zinc actually. It's a type of zinc Cummingtonite is what they call it. It's the only place that it's been found was at the Cummington mine.
Well, I'll be.
Okay.
And the name's hilarious. That's why a lot of people like it.
It is. Yeah. What you got, Emma?
This is my first favorite. I like
great.
it
Grape agate?
That's
because
beautiful.
I like it because it looks like lavender.
There you go. Very nice.
I can hang with that.
That's a pretty piece too. That's a real pretty piece.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Do any of us have any experience with Somerville agates from Somerville,
No.
Georgia? I do not.
You got me on that one.
Yeah.
No.
What's the difference between a Somerville agate from Somerville, Georgia, and any other agate?
The color?
I was about to say Matt's the closest, so if anybody was gonna know, it would be him, and he doesn't know.
Right.
so.
That makes me want to go to Somerville, Georgia, and Matt and I can meet in the middle.
That's
Pulling
right.
out the
I'll
phone.
meet you there
That'd be-
for sure.
That'd be it'd be a little more than halfway, but I would meet you. I think Savannah's halfway, right?
Yeah. There's
I would
there's a
meet-
couple digs in North Carolina, South Carolina. There's
Yeah.
Sea maggot. It's a looks like it's a type of sea maggot.
really
So
Okay.
Yeah, like
Okay.
a seam lace is what it looks like to me.
Color and banding.
it,
Okay.
it looks an
So
awful
like that-
lot like Mexican lace agate in a way.
Like crazy lace, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. The colors are
Okay.
a little different.
Somerville agate. I'm gonna have to write that down. Might have to go
yeah,
find some of
okay.
that.
Here, Matt, I'm gonna send this link that I'm looking at right now over to the group, so you can look at it there too.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's interesting looking. It looks a little bit too like the Laguna lace, right? A
Right?
little bit.
Yeah, that gray ghosting in there.
Exactly. Yeah. Very
Lots
cool.
of pseudomorphs, though. I mean, I'm doubt that that's gonna show up.
No. Oh, a little bit.
There's a lot of pseudomorph formations
Okay.
in this stuff.
Very cool. He traded 6 fishing reels for 15 pounds. Nice, Scott.
Heck yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
You know what? If you don't use any of them, that's not a bad trade. You know
Not
what
at
I mean?
all. Not at all. That's a great
Hey.
trade.
Now, Scott, you're going to need to go fishing again. So I have 2 rods. I'll trade you for half of it.
He don't need any rods. He needs reels.
He just
with
needs the reels.
So look, I just got Scott. I just got in from Frank Newman some of that electric blue obsidian. Yeah, I bought a piece of rough of it, so I'm gonna slap that up here shortly, and I'll send everybody some electric blue obsidian. It's pretty freaking cool.
I never had any of that.
That was the one thing that Scott had said he's never had any either. So
Yeah, I haven't ever seen it.
I would share it. See, Dave, I'm cool like that. I'll share my rocks.
So is it like Trent? Like
I'll trade you for some Trent agate.
is it like chatoyant blue like
It
other
is like-
obsidians, or is it like just blue?
Hold on, I'll show you. Hold on. Bear with me 1 second while I find the picture. I will show you the actual slab that I bought.
There it is.
Save image. Hold on, because I got to do this, and then I got to do that, and then I got to do that. So, where'd it go? There it is. Come on. My computer is taking its sweet time.
Good. Yeah, mine's terrible. This thing needs to be put out in the pasture.
Because I'm me. Yeah.
Save. Now I'm going to go over here. See, because I have to be real careful because I'm always afraid that while I'm doing this, I I'm gonna
Is it from
like
Lassen
X out.
Creek?
I'm gonna like X out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna X out of the wrong thing, and so I have to be very intentional with my. So I bought a slab and I bought rough. So this is the slab.
Wow.
Oh, that's
Isn't that
pretty.
cool?
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And then I bought some rough too that I'll probably get 6 or 7 slabs out of. So
Now, everybody, be careful when you're searching for this online, because I just looked at a lot of what was supposed to be electric blue obsidian, and it's just blue glass that people are selling.
yes.
You know,
So you want to, if you're
yeah.
gonna do it,
When you pick up a chunk this big around and you can see through it like a drinking glass, think
Yeah.
twice.
yeah, you gotta be careful, right?
Aurora Borealis.
Got
Oh,
this
that's nice stuff.
from-
Oh, yeah. Scott just said he sent Courtney a picture of that Aurora Borealis. That's pretty stuff.
I've got
Yes,
a chunk of it down
Scott
here somewhere.
posted this the other day. It's amazing. Hold on, let me download that. I don't know who. I'm gonna look in a second though. Somebody said they know they're late, but they wanted to say hi. I want to see who that is. So let me do this. Let me go. Oh, it's Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl, what's up? And hi, Alicia. Yeah, I'm looking forward to cutting the electric blue. And I got that because Frank is a very reputable source. So I knew that it was going to be. So this is what Scott. Yeah, I got it from Frank. Yeah, I got it directly from Frank.
Oh,
Isn't that
This
awesome?
makes phenomenal cabs.
That's
I've got some I'm
beautiful.
getting ready to cut.
I'd
Very
polish
nice.
it and put it in a frame. It looks like the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's gorgeous.
I
Yeah.
want a big piece.
Laptop.
Of the
Everybody
Aurora
knows what I want to do with it.
Right? Yeah,
Imagine
Oh,
what that
God,
looks like.
yours would be amazing.
A
Imagine
steer
what
that
that
would
looks
be
like with a
crazy.
He's a
slight
really,
dome.
really cool
Yeah.
guy too. Real nice guy. Very responsive. It was a pleasure doing business with him. Absolutely.
New Pine Creek, Oregon. Where is New Pine Creek?
In Oregon.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm in Salem, so I'm trying to think. Where's New Pine Creek? Is that up by
Please stop.
south of the Bend area? I'll have to go looking.
If I had $1 million sitting around, I'd buy his shop. Yeah, right? Right? Yeah, Frank, let me tell you, when I bought that slab, I did not expect it to be the slab is freaking huge. He had to put it in a large flat rate, right? So not
Wow.
the cube flat rate, a large flat rate. And
Okay.
his packaging is amazing. He took that to protect it and he put 1/4-inch plywood on. So he put styrofoam and then he put 1/4-inch plywood all around it to make sure that it would be safe when it got here. And
Good.
it is amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. So that slab will likely not get cut. I'll probably just face polish it and put it on display. And then I'll slab the rough and I'll cut some of the rough. So
Jaws, if I remember correctly, that's the back way going over to Susanville, California, coming up out of K Falls.
California border. Nice. But yeah, I had to share that with you guys because it's
You
my.
guys make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and turn the bell on.
There you go. Nice,
Since we're getting
right?
towards that time of the night.
We are.
Doesn't look like it has a bug in it.
Some pink rainbow. What? Wow.
What you mean pink?
Yeah, what is that?
Pink and
Do you have
rainbow?
a picture of that? Pink rainbow obsidian? Yeah, his slabs are ridiculously huge. And he's got these massive saws. I mean, it's just. So, Scott, what's the name of his group? I don't remember. He has a group on Facebook.
Yeah, Scott, you got to send me his link. It
Yes.
just didn't fit.
Yeah. Share it.
Or if you remember what the name of the group is, I just became a member of it not too long ago. Mostly pink. Wow, very cool. But yeah, I plan on doing a little more business with Frank throughout, the next. I don't know when I get some more money.
My wife is not. My wife's not going to like any of you.
Yes, Lassen Creek Electric Blue is the name of the
Okay,
Facebook group.
that's what I saw.
Yeah, so that's the name.
Scott, is that who you got the Aurora Borealis stuff from?
If he tells us he went and found that himself, I'm gonna.
No, that out of
die.
Lakeview.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. That was somebody he knew over there that needed material moved out.
Nice. Nice. Scott, you got to share with us when you have this phenomenal stuff that people need to get rid of. I'm sure some of us will be more than happy to help. But as Ryan said, we are coming to a close here in the next couple of minutes. So does anybody have anything else they want to talk about for the next couple of minutes? Any questions, anything anybody wants to say, either on the show or us?
That's weird. Nobody's talking.
Right, that's got to be a first. That's got to be a first.
Yeah.
Got to be a first.
But it wasn't weird that Dave talked first. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean,
Imagine that.
Hey,
That's normal,
silence
right?
is not
Right.
golden. It's a trial.
Okay, so I got a couple things, I guess, to say. Ryan and Andrew are going to do another agate cutting show after this podcast.
Nice.
So go check them out. They are cutting some really cool agates, and it's a really fun time, their agate cutting show. So go check them out on Glacier Bros after this. And I don't know, that's kind of all I got. It did not take 3 minutes to say that. So.
Ryan, do you still have some of that graveyard point to sell them?
Couple 100 pounds, yeah.
Yeah, you guys want to check this out. This is some of the most beautiful graveyard point I've ever seen.
It's from
And it has
1972.
marcasite in it.
It's got
It's from when?
marcasite in it.
We
Nice.
got it in the mining bag, still with the dirt on it and everything. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
real old stock. You can't get it like that anymore.
Right. But
Wow.
you won't be selling that again until you can start doing slab shows again, correct?
Yeah, I
Or-
mean we've been cutting some on the trim saw and doing like the smaller seams and showing whoever gets them.
Right.
Gotcha.
But it probably won't be till next week till
Okay.
we do some more of that.
That's
You
what
starting to
you
warm
guys want
up
to check
up
out.
there?
No, I can't wait to start slabbing. No, not really. It's not warming up. We got snow. We got snow and some snow and a little rain and some snow. So-
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's supposed to snow here this weekend.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I
Utah
really
never quits.
guys, I need all of you to get some warmth. You can send the cold down Matt's way. He needs it.
It was only 80. Yeah, it was only 80 today, so it wasn't
That's
too bad.
all.
It was
You don't
cold-
say that. No, I'm
it was cold
And I'm
rainy.
excited
Anything
about
for
sunny
80
and
degrees.
63. Oof.
Yeah, right. Now I
Wow.
need all of you guys up there in the icy tundra zone of the United States to get some warmth so you can start playing with rocks again.
I just don't want Courtney to drive across any bridges.
I'm not. You look, that is one bridge I never really used anyway. I didn't like it. It was the most bizarre thing.
I've been across that bridge many, many, many times.
Yeah, I've lived here.
Once was enough.
Yep, I've lived up here since 2010, and I've been across that bridge maybe 6 times. I just don't. I never liked it. Something about it just didn't sit right with me. But it's so sad. You know, our traffic up here will be jacked for years now.
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying right now.
Yeah,
Because that's going to take a long time to rebuild that one.
yeah, it's going to take 5 to 7 years probably. So
Not to mention, I mean, when I was on the railroad, that's why I went across that bridge so many times, was because
Okay.
the coal pier is over there, right? So you
Yeah.
bring coal in and out by ship.
Right.
So that shuts commerce down, which Baltimore is one
It
of the
does.
largest
Yes.
shipping
Yes.
ports.
the port
On
is
the
shut
east.
down until further notice.
I
It
believe
is-
it's the third largest in the States.
It
It is the
it's
number
third
one.
largest, and it's the number one for automotive. Yep, 750,000 vehicles go in and out of that port every year.
Yeah, I believe it's the third largest overall intermodal
Yeah,
Or-
it will cripple this area for a while.
Now, as long
You'll
as there
start
are
with
no
that.
rocks going to be held up, I'm okay.
No, rocks will be good. Rocks will
Okay.
be good.
I'm all right there.
Because we can figure out other ways to move them. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We love you. Emma, thank you for sharing your good stuff with us tonight. And happy birthday again. I hope you had a great, great birthday. And we will see you all again next week. So much love. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for coming.